And we're back. We're at Meet the Leaders, and we are in Hartford, opening day of the session. We've got Representative John Shaban, who represents Weston and Easton and Reading, 135th District. Pleased to have him along with us today. And how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
You know, this is only your second go-around. You're a relative neophyte to this whole thing.
That's right.
Got to be still pretty exciting.
Well, it is. I mean, it's funny. You're driving up here, and at first I'm just trying to get my schedule in order and trying to get my day job done. But then you realize that, it sounds corny, but this is really one of the seats of democracy, and it's kind of a special thing to be a part of. It really is. I mean, it sounds contrived, but I feel it. So.
Well, I don't think you're alone. We talked to people who've been in the legislature for 15, 20 years, and they are still very excited about this whole thing.
And they should be.
And this is a day of major focus on it. The rest of the session, it goes on, and you do your things, and much of it's under a bushel, if you will.
Right.
But this is a day where everybody's focused, of course, on the words of the governor, and he's talking very optimistically about education and job creation and so forth. Yep. What concerns have you principally as you take a look at this in the second of your first term?
Well, I think the main concern is probably everybody's concern. Just you come at it from a different angle. It's our state finances. It's our budget. You and I were speaking off camera, and the governor's of the opinion that maybe we're not running a deficit. There was some financial reports a week or two ago saying we are running a deficit. We need to nail that down. Last year there was a big discussion, big fight, a lot of votes, a lot of arguments, but at the end of the day we passed the budget, and so be it. We have to see if those numbers are working out. We have to see if they're working for the state. Are
you seeing some more bipartisan work together this year? I think, as we take a look at the national scene, it's just a battle royale on almost anything. Even what time is it? You can't even agree on that. So people are kind of fed up with that, judging by reaction, not only across the country, but right here in Connecticut.
Yeah. It's funny. I've been asked this question a lot, and I don't see it up here as much. I mean, there are things we disagree on. The budget is the obvious answer. There are some issues that people disagree on, whether you're an R or you're D. There were issues that split the R's and D's, you just disagree on. So if it's a principal disagreement, that's not getting along, that's having a principal disagreement. But I've enjoyed every minute I've worked with my Democratic colleagues. I think they're well-intentioned, intelligent folks. I hope they think the same of me. And I look forward to doing it again. It's not a cantankerous, vitriolic fight up here. It's a principled discussion for the most part.
Well, and as you point out, in real terms, generally, most things get passed on a bipartisan basis.
For the most part, right.
There are a couple of sticking points, and as you suggest, the budget is typically one of those, and always seems to be. But other than that, there really is a lot of agreement and a lot of working together and a lot of accomplishment as a result of that.
And that's
it doesn't make that much news when everybody agrees.
No, and that's the whole thing. The news media, especially the national news media, really like to focus on the chicken fight. And that's whether that's happening nationally or not, I'm not going to opine on. But here, there's disagreements, but it's I think it's more in line with what people expect than what sometimes might get reported.
The governor talked a lot about education in his State of the State and kickoff this day. You are graced with some of the best school systems to be represented.
Absolutely.
Between Weston, Reading, and Easton.
Absolutely.
You don't seem to have that big gap that much of the rest of the state does, indeed, number one in the country.
Right. No, we don't. But at the same time, our tax dollars, the ECS sharing is always in the mix, and that's going to come up this time around, educational cost sharing. And we recognize, I think, the folks in my towns, that most of our dollars that go to the state for education, most of those dollars aren't coming back. They're just not. But what we expect, or what we hope, is that the money is spent wisely. That it's not just money getting thrown at a problem, or money getting thrown at the same problem in the same way, because everybody hurts. Everyone suffers when there's an achievement gap.
We're looking for creative answers to solve that problem. Representative, thank you so much for being with us. We do appreciate it. That's Representative John Shaban, 135th District, and that is going to do it for this edition of Meet the Leaders. But in weeks to come, we'll have other ones for you, so keep it right here. I'm David Smith. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you next time.